Hello, welcome everyone. I'm Candy, and this is my good friend Cyndi. She's like a sister. She's visiting from California. She's been here since Tuesday. In this video, we are going to be talking with Cyndi on her Master Fast system. She's on day 98. No solid food for 98 days, and she's going to be going the full 108 days. And so, Cyndi, the first question I want to ask is this your first experience with juice fasting?
No, this is not. I would say the first juice fast I did was about 4 years ago, June. My brother had cancer and I bought him a juicer and took it to LA, and I went on a 10-day juice fast with him. And that was kind of how my fast started, kind of my fasting situation started, that I knew that fasting could heal the body, by allowing the digestive system to take a vacation, basically. So, and then I did some juice fasting with my mother and with my son. So really for the last 4 years, I've done on and off a lot of different short, usually like 10 or 20 days juice fasting.
What made you want to do the Master Fast system?
I found the Master Fast system. I had kind of briefly saw it last February, but kind of blew it off because I felt that you needed the juice. Like when you went on a juice fast, I felt like you needed to have all the biophotons from the juice to nourish your body, support you while you were on it. So, but come October I had discovered the Master Fast, so I decided that I would start reading more and trying to understand more about the yin and the yang and the positive and the negative, the cooked and uncooked together. And so I was actually in the middle of a 60-day juice fast, and so I started reading Gino's pinpoints and really wanting to incorporate some of the stuff in the fast that I was in the middle of until I gathered up all the information that I needed before I could really jump in.
Mm-hmm. How much weight have you lost? I'm sure a lot of people would be interested to hear about how your weight has changed.
I've lost 50 pounds on the Master Fast. I took off 20 pounds last year just with some juice fasting. So my husband says I'm half the woman he married. I was pretty much wearing before I started the Master Fast, I was kind of in that 10-12 thing, and now I'm pretty much wearing a size 6, so I'm pretty happy about that. Candy gave me some of her clothes.
What made you want to do 108 days of the Master Fast, the full Master Fast?
Because I wanted to experience it for myself. I lost my son last June, and my heart was really broken because I was really wanting him to have a better, healthier life. And it was really difficult, and I spent about 4 months really just waking up every morning crying. And so in October, when I found the Master Fast, and I was on one of Facebook Lives, and I typed in about how I lost my son, and Gino instantly said, do a 72-hour dry fast. And I couldn't believe at the end of those 72 hours, because I'd done a little bit of dry fasting too. I mean, I never recommend anybody like jumping into this stuff without kind of, play around with it. Do some shorter juice fasts or, whatever. Put yourself in it. I mean, I've been vegan for 4 years, and I've been mostly raw for about 3.5 years, or, so that's just kind of, so I kind of feel like people need to realize that this isn't something like I suddenly woke up and just said, boom, I want to do 100. I mean, kind of, but not really. I'd done some things to get myself to this point where I felt like I could do the 108.
Mm-hmm. Did you set goals and intentions?
Oh, most definitely. They definitely encourage you to write down. I mean, my number one top goal was to heal my heart and to find joy in my life again, because I have to admit, I mean, last fall, I honestly never thought that I would have this much joy and happiness that I have in my life today. I really didn't. I still have my sad moments. I still have, it's like when you lose somebody, it's kind of like a wave that sometimes just hits you, where, you'll, go like it was interesting because coming here, I was really afraid about how I was going to feel when I came to the airport. But it wasn't this airport. It was the Sacramento airport when I got there on Tuesday that I had that wave that hit me that was a little bit of sadness. So they're just farther apart.
Because you and he had traveled through that airport.
Yeah, we had done a lot of traveling and stuff together. So it was, but for the most part, I do feel like I have a lot of joy in my life now. And I feel really at peace. So that he's on a different journey, not the one that I wanted for him, but he's on a different journey. So part of it too was that I thought that by fasting that I could also somehow become closer with Zach. And so that was kind of my other thing, of my goal for, keep going on the 108 days or for that. Better at breathing now too, with the breath than I used to be. So being more aware of your surroundings too, and just being more aware of, what's going on in your life. That's helped me too.
What kind of healing events have you had?
Well, the first thing was my left shin hurt a little bit from when I had tripped over my son's bike when he was a kid. So it was kind of interesting that was the first thing that kind of ached. And then another morning I felt like somebody had hit me in the back of the neck. But the Master Fast has so many people, wonderful people. If you post that you're having this ache or this pain, they'll recommend things or support you, so that's wonderful. So, and then my lower back kind of felt, and I wasn't sure if it was my left kidney or my lower back that was giving me little issues, but I did go to the chiropractor and I got adjusted. I don't know, when was that, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago? I can't even remember anymore.
That seems right.
And it's amazing that I'm this close because, you get to the halfway point and you're like, wow, I'm halfway. And then it's just I don't know. I stopped. I was writing, I've written in a journal, what day it is and, if there's something that's gone on with me that day. But for the most part, I kind of just been trying to kind of ignore that because I think sometimes when you're really counting, I think it drags out. If you just kind of let it just flow and go with it, it's a lot easier. So,
what is your plan on how you will break the fast?
A big 32-ounce jar of orange juice is what I want in the worst way.
That's all you want?
That's what I really want. I really want some orange juice because I've been juicing a lot of oranges for my daughter and my husband and my mother-in-law and my mom and everybody in the house. And sometimes I put some in my juice, but I really just that's just what I'm craving right now. That and I'd like a big fat juicy watermelon. So, but right now it's hard to get any organic. I'm growing stuff in my garden, so I'm really looking forward to this summer of having fresh tomatoes and cucumbers and zucchini. I have celery that's growing and some tender leafy greens, so my summer is going to be out in my garden. I've been doing a lot, already getting the ground ready. I have stuff in my greenhouse to be planted, so I'm excited. I've been spending my extra time, instead of in the kitchen, I spend my extra time in the greenhouse.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Herbs are a big part of the Master Fast. You want to share a little bit about that?
I started out with Robert Morse herbs, and because that's what I had. I had I'd done his 14-week protocol, but I had some left over from my son Zach, and so I started with those and used those up. And then I bought some of Gino's herbs because I really wanted to try his herbs too. They're a little stronger. See if I could get a little, deeper cleanse out of Gino's herbs. And, but, it's been all good, really. There's been some days where I feel a little tired or sluggish. I could tell my body's just, not wanting to be as active. But for the most part, really, most days I've been doing great. So.
You got here on Tuesday and I jumped in on a juice fast because I wanted to support you. not because you need the support. I definitely know that you don't need the support. You haven't had any this whole time in California. I haven't, I don't need support either. I haven't, but it feels right. There's no way I could eat something in front of you, make a big combo salad and chow down in front of you. What would you say would be the most challenging part of this for you? Would it be maybe the outside?
Oh yeah, my husband at first was, especially after I was about 30 days, he was really, wanting me to. And even like last week, like he was like, oh, come on, isn't this so many days? Like, isn't this enough or whatever? And I'm like, no, I have this goal. I want to do this. But I have to say we had a little kind of issue in the beginning, like after about 30 days, and my husband was really not supportive, and he really didn't want me to be on it anymore. And then my sister found out that I had been doing this with my mom too, and she was not supportive of it. So actually my sister called the cops on me. And they came to the house and they interviewed my mother and they interviewed me, and they could tell that everything was fine. And they said we could do whatever we wanted, that it was our choice, and they left. And so that was actually kind of a positive. It felt really negative at the time, but the positive that came out of it is that after that my husband left me alone. And so anyway, so that was kind of a weird thing. So to have your sister call the police on you. Anyway.
Well, I think that's probably a good place to wrap it up right there. That's a tough one to follow.
So talk about no support from your family. Yeah. So. All right, Candy.
All right.
Cheers.
Yeah.
To your health.
To your health. Bye.